Okay, so I'm gonna put my stuff to the side here. And what I have done here is made a little template. I usually make this out of scrap paper quite often. And so what I did was I measured the size of my spine and cut out a piece of paper that size. And then I drew 3 lines, trying to make them as even as possible. And then I decided that I wanted to do 3 holes going up, and there's 3 signatures. So I just measure where I want my holes so that it's pretty even. As you can see, I've got it pretty good there. So what I'm gonna do is I have an awl here, and this is how I poke my holes. This is a wonderful tool. You can get them on Amazon for super cheap. I think I got like a 3 or 4 pack. And this is really good, but if you get it stuck in your finger, it really hurts. So how I put this together is I try and find some really good clips. Because I don't want this to move on me. So I'm clipping them where I want them. I'm taking my awl, and I've already poked the holes in this. I usually do that ahead of time just in case. It just makes it easier to get through. Then I can see exactly where I want my holes. I'm going to poke it all the way through. And we got those. Turn it around. We'll do the same thing down here. So my holes should line up. There we go. So we'll put that to the side, take off our clips, and we've got some holes. As you can see, there's our holes. So I have already cut out the string that I want to use to do this with. And how I measure the thread out is I usually go up and down twice. So that's up, down once, up, down twice, and then I give a little extra, and that's going to give me more than enough. I don't want to run out. The pin, or sorry, not the pin, the needle that I use is, let's see here, I have a couple that I really like, and I want to get a good one here. So this one, it is not a super sharp needle, but has a really big eye there, and my thread is a little bit thicker because I want to make sure it's very sturdy. So I need to have a really big eye for the pin, and the pin doesn't necessarily need to be that it doesn't necessarily need to be that strong, because we're not really going through much because our awl has already done this. Now, as you can see, I'm struggling to get that in there, and I didn't get it. Okay. So the pin that we're going to use today is a longer pin. Why do I keep calling it a pin? So the needle that we're going to use today has a big eye, and I need it to have a big eye so that I can get my thread through. And I just let a little bit hang over. And so I've got that ready. I accidentally have a little knot there. I'll just trim that off. And I'm going to do the same thing with my signatures that I did before. So I want this to be lined up properly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my middle, and I'm going to paper clip my pages down because I don't want them to shift on me. So I'm going to get that far. that's looking pretty good. That's not going to slip on me. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do the same thing. I quite often use really large bobby pins as well. They're really good because they're thin and they're quite tight. So that looks pretty good to me. So got them in there. Now what I do instead here of doing it, I use this more of a guide. So I'm going to line this up so that it's in the middle. I'm going to take a really sharp pencil. I'm going to draw my guide. And you can see my dots there. I'm going to take my awl and I'm going to poke it through. Now this one's a little bit stronger because we've got some really nice thick papers in here. A lot of it is like a good solid cardstock, so if you wanted to add pictures or like things that are a bit heavier, then the book will be able to do that. So I've poked my holes, and what I'm going to do, I've already got this threaded. I'm going to start on the inside, going through the book, or through the pages, and then through the book. I'm going to pull it. And right now I'm doing this kind of loosely. Getting it through. It's literally just an in and out. Sometimes it's hard to see where that hole is. So if you do have that problem, I'll just go through again with my awl. And then I can get my needle through the right spot. There we go. Perfect. Oh, except, yeah, there we go. Okay, we're doing it. Pulling it through. Now I want to make sure that my other piece, or the end piece, comes through. So, because we don't want that to get tangled. So maybe I have that a bit too long. Oh, we're doing good. So I'm going to kind of pull that a bit tighter now. We're going to start to make sure that it's formed well. It's going to go in. Again, we're going through the first hole. So now we're going to actually start to pull through, making sure things look tight. So feeling that's tight. But we have this here. We want to make sure that that's pulled tight. We also want to look here, and we also want to look here to make sure that everything's pulled tight. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back through this middle hole. And again, I do it just through the book first. We'll come right back through here. That middle hole, and we're going to come all the way through. So I'm going to take my needle off. I'm going to pull this tight, pull it tight. Okay, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to look here. Now as you can see, it felt like it was tight, but there's a little loop here. We don't want that. So kind of got to finagle a little bit to figure out where that's caught. There we go. So that's good. Where's my end? There we go. And we want to pull that again. That's good. So now we don't have any more loops there. So that's looking quite well. And that's looking really nice there too. So now what we're going to do, now I did do quite a bit of extra. I tie it, I pull it to either the middle or the top, put my finger on it, I'm going to tie that again. I'm going to pull that tight. Make sure that's feeling good. It is. And then I like to leave a little bit of extra You can use this as a bookmark later if you want. Then you can take off your paper clips and your hairpins. And we have our first signature in place. You're going to repeat that process another 2 times.